less than 6 months from Election Day, and new CBS News polling shows President Biden trailing Donald Trump in two key states, Arizona and Florida. In 2020, Florida backed Trump, while Arizona voted blue for the first time since 1996. The CBS News campaign reporter Zak Hudak is tracking all of this for us from Washington. So part of the reason these two states are sort of interesting is because abortion is a real hot-button issue in the election, but specifically in these two states. What are the issues that are driving voters to the polls in Arizona and Florida?
Anne-Marie, somewhat shockingly, abortion is not ranking very high in that list. There are about 5 issues ahead of it. Among them are the economy, inflation, crime, and border security. And that's particularly surprising because those states have had to confront abortion restrictions at the state legislature level in recent months. So we would have expected that to be a little bit different than it is. But I think the takeaway from that is the issues that are concerning voters in these states right now are benefiting Donald Trump. The Biden campaign would far prefer it if abortion was the #1 issue for these voters in these states.
And so how does it compare to other states, though? Other swing states in particular?
It's relatively similar to what we've seen recently out of places like Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan. However, it's pretty different from what we were seeing in the midterms of 2022, where in a place like Pennsylvania, abortion really tremendously helped Democrats. It helped John Fetterman actually beat Dr. Oz in a race that he was struggling in really until abortion kind of got thrust into the forefront of that election. So we're seeing a similar trend. However, we also continue to see those concerns about democracy in those states. And I think that's an issue that the Biden campaign will particularly be doubling down on.
Hey, Zach, when speaking at a National Rifle Association meeting over the weekend, Trump floated this idea again of a third term. And some in the crowd reportedly chanted 3. Again, this isn't the first time that Trump has floated this. And he has in an interview said he's not seriously considering that, the amendment that FDR used, essentially. But how seriously is the Biden campaign taking these comments?
They're taking it very seriously insofar as they see it as an opportunity to continue to remind voters of January 6th, of Trump's previous election claims, and of his readiness to deviate from the norms in this country. So they see it as, frankly, a vulnerability of Trump and something that they can double down on. And they're looking at polls like the one we were just talking about, where concerns about the state of American democracy are pretty high up in voters' minds.
As high as the last election?
I think they are getting higher, yeah. And, you know, as a result, when former President Donald Trump says things like this, that's an opportunity for the Biden campaign to remind voters of what happened last election.
Speaking of the Biden campaign, President Biden spent the weekend, you could say, courting black voters. He did the commencement speech at Morehouse University, historically black college. And then he was also at an NAACP dinner in Detroit. So, you know, the polls certainly show support, I guess, softening. I don't want to make too much out of it, but softening in this particular demographic group. He's also softening a little bit when it comes to Hispanic voters. What has the president's messaging been to these two groups to try and appeal to them?
His messaging has largely been that I am listening to you and I am representing you within my administration. He's taken different strategies on reaching them in recent weeks. His campaign has been going wall to wall with ads on Spanish language sports channels, trying to reach some of those Hispanic voters, while he's been, as you mentioned, going to HBCUs. He's been going to places like Philadelphia, where he really needs turnout of African-American voters if he's going to perform well in Pennsylvania again. So that's been more of a retail politics, getting on the road, showing face thing, while on the Hispanic side, it has been a ad blitz.
All right, Zak Hudak, thank you.